Cooking, a fundamental human practice, has played an important role in shaping not only our diets but also the very cause of human evolution. It's a practice deeply ingrained in our cultural and biological history, with its origins dating back millions of years. The evolution of cooking is a story of innovation, adaptation, and transformation that has contributed to the development of modern human society. Cooking is as old as civilization itself, and observers have perceived it as both an art and a science. Its history shed light on the very origins of human settlement, and its variety and traditions reflect unique social, cultural, and environmental influences. The precise origins of cooking are unknown, but at some point in the distant past, early humans conquered fire and started using it to prepare food. So it is safe to say that the story of cooking begins with the mastery of fire. Homo erectus, an early human ancestor, is believed to have been the first to control fire around 1.5 million years ago. The control of fire brought about numerous benefits such as warmth, protection from predators, and the ability to expand dietary options. While the exact circumstances of the discovery of cooking remain speculative, it's likely that early humans found that cooking food over an open flame made it more palatable, easier to chew, and safer to consume. Archaeological evidence of food preparation, backed up by knowledge of how modern-day hunter-gatherers prepare their food, suggests that the first cooks did little to their food in the way of preparation or technique. The flesh of animals was either roasted over a fire or boiled in water to make it tender. Fruit was gathered and peeled, and nuts were shelled. Necessity rather than flavor usually dictated how hunter-gatherers of the past prepared their food. Some foods had to be prepared carefully to remove toxins. Native American tribes in California, for example, developed a procedure to make acorns edible by removing their bitter tannic acid. Farther south, native people in Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela learned to remove the cyanide from cassava, a starchy root used to make tapioca and a staple crop across the tropics. Hunter-gatherers processed foods to preserve them. Because some hunter-gatherer society faced uncertain food supplies, particularly in winter, they developed techniques such as smoking and drying to make foods last longer. They also created preparations such as pemmican, a mixture of meat, fat, and sometimes fruit to preserve foods. Alcohol required elaborate preparation as well, and societies around the world perfected means to ferment fruit or grain into alcohol. Like most ideas about human evolution, the cooking hypothesis can only be tested indirectly, because without a time machine, we cannot know exactly what happened in our evolutionary history. But there are several converging pieces of evidence that may help us understand it better. Did you know that some scientists even associate cooking with the increase in our brain size? Well, fossils show the teeth and digestive tract of Homo erectus decreased in size around the same time brain size increased. This little evidence likely means our ancestors started eating softer, higher quality foods. But many exciting questions remain open. How much of these changes were due to eating cooked foods specifically versus the increased use of other processing techniques such as pounding or cutting foods? Did the adoption of cooking, generally a communal process in humans, require changes in our social behavior? Or are there other ways to grow a big brain? Answering these questions will continue to shed new light on human health, human psychology, and the origins of our species. Physical evidence shows that cooking food on hot stones may have been the only adaptation during the earliest phases of cooking. Then about 30,000 years ago, earth ovens were developed in Central Europe. These were large pits dug in the ground and lined with stones. The pits were filled with hot coals and ashes to heat the stones. Food, presumably wrapped in leaves, was placed on top of the ashes. Everything was covered with earth, and the food was allowed to roast very slowly. The bones of many types of animals, including large mammoths, have been found in and around ancient earth ovens. This slow cooking was clearly an improvement over rapidly roasting meat by fire. The next true advance in very early cooking technology appears to have been the development of wet cooking, in which food is boiled in water. Boiling food would certainly be an advantage when cooking starchy root tubers and rendering fat from meat. Many archaeologists believe the smaller earth ovens lined with hot stones were used to boil water in the pit for cooking meat or root vegetables as early as 30,000 years ago. Others believe it is likely that water was first boiled for cooking in perishable containers, either over the fire or directly on hot ashes or stones well before this time. Unfortunately, no direct archaeological evidence has survived to support this conclusion. As for utensils, no physical evidence of sophisticated utensils for cooking food appears until about 20,000 years ago, when the first pieces of fired clay pottery appear. Using sensitive chemical methods, scientists have determined that shards of pottery found in Japan contain fatty acids from marine sources such as fish and shellfish. These heat-resistant pots may have been used to boil seafood. These little and small evidences give way to various thoughts but yet again, many questions remain unanswered. Jacob Bronowski, in his book The Ascent of Man, says the life of early nomads such as the hunter-gatherers who existed for several million years or more was a constant search for food. They were always on the move, following the wild herds. He wrote, "Every night is the end of a day like the last, and every morning will be the beginning of a journey like the day before." It was a matter of survival. There simply was no time for them to innovate and create new methods of cooking. Being constantly on the move, they couldn't pack up and carry heavy cooking utensils every day, even if they had invented them. Then, about 10,000 years before the last ice age ended, creativity and innovation finally began to flourish in spite of the restrictions of nomadic life. Early humans were finding that food was becoming more abundant due to warming weather, so they could gather it more easily without needing to move constantly. With the end of the last ice age and the beginning of the Neolithic period about 12,000 years ago, everything changed when wandering nomads began to settle and turn into villagers. The discovery that seeds from new varieties of wild grasses that emerged after the end of the Ice Age, such as emmer wheat or two-row barley, could be gathered, saved, planted, and harvested the following season. The change from a nomadic life to a sedentary life in more secure settlements was critical. Being able to harvest large quantities of food at one time meant these early farmers could no longer move from place to place. They had to build immovable structures for storing and protecting all the food, and this resulted in the creation of permanent settlements. The agricultural revolution then spread to other parts of the world over several thousand years. As the Ice Age was coming to an end, early humans were harvesting wild wheat and barley in quantity in the Fertile Crescent. As early humans began to select seeds to plant, they chose the larger seeds, which were storing more of the nutrients required for faster growth. The resulting crops grew faster to outcompete the wild wheats and provided higher yields, and in turn produced still larger seeds. The development of new foods and methods of cooking in the few thousand years following the emergence of agriculture illustrates how important this period was for the advancement of humans. Within a few thousand years, small farming villages grew into large permanent settlements and then small cities. Cooking has had a profound impact on human biology and culture. Biologically, cooking led to changes in our anatomy. The use of fire for cooking likely reduced the size of our teeth and jaws, as softer cooked foods required less chewing. This freed up energy for other activities and allowed for the expansion of brain size. Culturally, the act of cooking marked a significant transition. As communities gathered around cooking sites, it fostered social interaction and the sharing of knowledge. The advent of cooking created opportunities for innovation, leading to the development of tools, techniques, and culinary traditions that were passed down through generations. The evolution of cooking didn't stop with the mastery of fire. Throughout history, advancements in cooking technology such as pottery and ovens have continued to shape culinary practices. In recent times, the globalization of cuisines, the rise of industrial food production, and the fusion of traditional and modern cooking techniques have led to an unprecedented diversity of flavors and ingredients. The evolution of cooking is a testament to human adaptability, creativity, and resourcefulness. From the simple act of roasting food over an open flame to the intricate art of molecular gastronomy, cooking has been a driving force behind our biological and cultural development. It has not only nourished our bodies but also enriched our societies, contributing to the vibrant tapestry of human history and heritage. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. For more videos like these, do check our channel out, and before you go, please do not forget to support us by liking and subscribing to the channel. Till then, this is Halabella, and see you soon in our next video.